Happy Halloween, Cleveland and Columbus sports fans. This is Jen B, and you're tuned in live to the show of the land on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tonight, we are going to talk about the Browns, what's happening with the roster, what's happening at QB, and what happened in Seattle. Then we will talk some college football, how the teams in Ohio fared this past weekend, and some upcoming games. We will talk about how the Columbus Blue Jackets are doing so far this season and upcoming games. We'll talk about some updates with the Crew and their upcoming playoff game tomorrow. And we will talk Cavs, how the season's going so far, and what's next. And if we have time, we'll talk a little bit about the Guardians. But I think that'll about cover it for today. And then we'll end things here so everybody can get to their trick-or-treating. So first up is the Browns. So Deshaun Watson was ruled out for the Seahawks game. According to Stefanski, his shoulder swelled up again after the game against the Colts. He had another MRI and it showed no new damage, which is good news. So he's still working on his rehab and getting his strength back. As of last update, he was still experiencing some weakness and pain in that throwing shoulder. PJ Walker was assigned to the active roster and slated to start against the Seahawks. Dustin Hopkins won AFC Special Teams Player of the Year for the second week in a row. Myles Garrett is before the Seattle game. I don't know where he is right now because I haven't seen the updates since the game last night. But he was third in the NFL in sacks at 7.5, and he also won AFC Defensive Player of the Week. The Browns signed Nate McCreary to the practice squad. They also signed John Kelly Jr. to the practice squad. And then they elevated running back Jordan Wilkins and offensive tackle Ty Secchi, maybe is his name. But today they released Nate McCreary and Jordan Wilkins and signed a bunch of people to the practice squad, like 3 different people. And Ty Secchi was moved to the practice squad injured list. So they signed today Kenyon Drake, Jerron Christian, and James Proche, or I'm not sure how to say it, but Kenyon Drake is a running back, Jerron Christian is an offensive tackle, and James Proche or whatever is a wide receiver. So they did that today. Today they also traded Donovan Peoples-Jones to the Detroit Lions for a 2025 6th-round pick. I am so sad about this move. I love Donovan Peoples-Jones. He has not done too much so far this season, but a lot of that has to do with quarterback play. So I'm a little upset about them moving on from him, but I also understand it. He was nearing the end of his contract, and this will give them the ability to give Cedric Tillman some more playing time. But I'm kind of bummed that they got a 2025 pick for him. I personally think he's worth more than that, but you know, his play this year so far has not has not looked the best. So it is what it is. And he is gone. Let's see. So the Browns played the Seahawks on Sunday, and it was an interesting game, to say the least. They did end up losing, and a lot of it was due to turnovers. Of course, if you look at Brown's Twitter or Brown's X or whatever you want to call it, it's all Stefanski's fault. So that's how that goes. It's all Stefanski's fault. But they ended up losing 24-20, and PJ Walker threw 2 interceptions and had a strip sack lost as well. So they gave up 3 turnovers. They did get 2 turnovers. Maurice Hurst had an interception. And so did MJ Emerson. So we did get 2 turnovers, but unfortunately we gave up 3. And that terrible turnover ratio was not going to continue to win us games. So it did not work out this time. David Njoku had one of the best games of his career. He was the highest rated tight end in week 8 at 88.2 per PFF. Let's see what else happened. We had a lot of injuries. A lot of injuries. Greg Newsome was out with a groin injury. Alex Wright went out with a knee injury. DeJuan Jones went out with a shoulder injury. Zadarius Smith and Grant Delpit both went out at some point. They did both return, so not 100% sure what exactly the injuries are. Stefanski said in his press conference yesterday that he will give injury updates tomorrow. So I know Zadarius Smith did have x-rays, but again, I'm not sure on what, because I'm not 100% sure what the injury was. But he did go back in, so, so did Jones. But they are all up in the air right now until we get our injury updates tomorrow. We should get another update on Deshaun Watson tomorrow as well. He's still rehabbing that shoulder. From what I've been hearing, it sounds like it will most likely be either PJ Walker or DTR against the Cardinals, and then the goal is to have Deshaun Watson back the following week when we play Baltimore again. But we will see tomorrow when those announcements come out. It's been a up and down season for the Browns. Elijah Moore was returning punts on Sunday, which was interesting. He did pretty well with that. DPJ was in there for a couple of them in the second half, but Elijah Moore returned most of them. Kareem Hunt had a touchdown. David Njoku had a touchdown. And so we shall see what happens. I'm kind of surprised that there weren't any more moves prior to the trade deadline, which just passed about a little over an hour ago, but the only move was DPJ. There were some rumors that the Browns were talking to Washington about Chase Young and Jacoby Brissett. Chase Young ended up going to the 49ers, and Jacoby Brissett, to my knowledge, is still with the Commanders. So they did not make any moves, whether they were actually talking to the Commanders or not. We may never know, but supposedly they were. And there was also rumors that they were talking to the Broncos about a couple wide receivers and offensive linemen, but nothing ever came of that either. So it is what it is. We are now 4-3, tied for second in the AFC North with everybody except the Ravens. So we're still in good shape. We've got the Cardinals coming up on Sunday. Then they have Baltimore Ravens the following week. So hopefully we get Deshaun Watson back and he doesn't have a whole lot of rust to work through from being out and being injured. So hopefully things will start to look up here in the next week or two. But for right now, we're still in playoff contention. If the playoffs were to start today, we would be in the last seed, but we would be in. So, it could be worse. But that is going to wrap things up on the Browns. So I am going to take a short break, and then I will be back to talk about some college football on the Show of the Land with Jen B. right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter, at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter. At any time, be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports? Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patty Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo Sports with a Twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did. Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and our weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo, go Bills!
What's up, everybody? This is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
You're back live with Jen B on the Show of the Land, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. So now we're going to talk some college football. So for the Ohio State Buckeyes, Marvin Harrison Jr. was awarded the... Oops, one sec. Sorry about that. Marvin Harrison Jr. awarded Maxwell Player of the Week award last week. Marvin Harrison Jr., Cade Stover, and Emeka Egbuka are all on the Biletnikoff watch list. And freshman cornerback Jermaine Matthews Jr. was named College Football Network Freshman of the Week. So congratulations to all of them. Mount Union played Otterbein this week, and I actually got to watch the game for once because they didn't play at the same time as Ohio State. So Mount Union played pretty well. They scored a touchdown on 3rd and goal, and then their defense this season so far is holding opponents to a 17% conversion rate on 3rd down. Their offense is better than 50% on 3rd down conversions. They then, after the touchdown, blocked a punt for a safety to bring the score to 9-0. And at the end of the half, they were up 30-0. And they ended up finishing the game at... No, it was not 44-0. I was very upset. It was 44-0 at the end of the 3rd quarter, though. It ended up 51-14. So Mount Union ended up putting in their backups in the 4th quarter. So Otterbein ended up being able to score in the 4th quarter, and they got those 2 touchdowns. And the first one was the first red zone touchdown that Mount Union had allowed all season. So, but it was their backups they were playing. So, take that for what it's worth. But they will be playing John Carroll next week, which should be an interesting matchup. Both teams are currently ranked, so this will most likely be their toughest game so far this season. So we'll see what happens with that. John Carroll played... Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. John Carroll played Muskingum last week and won 42-13. The last rankings I saw, Mount Union was ranked number 2 and John Carroll was ranked number 14. So we shall see what happens in that game on Saturday between those two. I just saw something. But anyway. Kent State's C.J. Harris has been nominated for the Warfel Trophy. And Youngstown State played Missouri State and won 44-28. And next week they will be playing Indiana State. Kent State and Akron will be playing in Akron tomorrow. Hiram played the College of Worcester and lost 47-14. Next week they will play Wabash College. Heidelberg played Wilmington and won 49-35. And they will be at Baldwin Wallace next week. Baldwin Wallace played Capital and won 59-35 and will be playing Heidelberg. So another interesting matchup. So from what I have seen in the numbers, I think Baldwin Wallace should have that game, but you never know. We'll see what happens. Miami of Ohio played OU and won 30-16. And then Ohio State played Wisconsin. Kyle McCord fumbled on 4th and 3, and it was recovered by Wisconsin. Then Braylon Allen fumbled, and it was recovered by OSU. So they were just trading fumbles. And then Ohio State kicked a field goal. Denzel Burke and Trey Henderson were both back from injury, which helped significantly. Kyle McCord threw an interception in the end zone. Then he threw a touchdown to Marvin Harrison. So they were up 10-0. And then McCord threw another interception. Then Wisconsin got a field goal. And then they got a touchdown. And it was 10-10. It was 10-3 at the half, and then right after the half, Wisconsin scored a touchdown, bringing it to 10-10. And then McCord threw another touchdown to Marvin Harrison, and Trey Henderson got a touchdown, and the final of the game was 24-10. And the Buckeyes will be at Rutgers next week. Travion Henderson is averaging 6.7 yards per carry, which is number 1 in the Big Ten for running backs. And Denzel Burke is a semifinalist for the Jim Thorpe Award. So, Ohio State looked in the game against Wisconsin. At the beginning of the game, they really have a thing with slow starts. They start out really slow. Like, sometimes they'll come out and they'll march right down the field on the very first drive, and it'll be like, all right, they're looking good. Or they'll hold the other team's offense to a 3-and-out. It's like, and things are looking good. But then things just start to go wonky for the rest of the first half. And then in the second half, they're like a whole new team, and they're great as can be, and nothing can stop them. So I'm very interested to see how they end up matching up against Michigan in a couple of weeks, because that is going to be their toughest game. So we will see what happens. These slow starts are not going to cut it against Michigan. They had a similar issue against Michigan last year, and they could not overcome it. Against these lesser teams, they can overcome it in the second half. But when they come up against Michigan, it's going to be a lot harder to overcome those deficits if they don't get their shit together in the first half. Like, they have been struggling with the last few weeks. Actually, pretty much every game. They have struggled at least in one quarter, if not the entire first half. So hopefully they get it together, and having these guys come back from injury hopefully will help with that. And they will come on strong from the go when they play Michigan. But we shall see. But it was very interesting to finally get to watch Mount Union. It's almost like watching a high school game on TV because it's with it being a smaller school, they don't have the setup like an Ohio State where the field is mainly for football. So you could see the lines for the other sports that are played on that field, and it's so much smaller than like Ohio State Stadium. So it was very much like watching a high school football game on TV, just with college level players. But it was fun to watch, and they played very well. Even their backups. I mean, their backups allowed Otterbein to score 2 touchdowns, but that didn't really mean anything at that point with them already being up by 44 points. So, and then they actually ended up scoring again too. So it was a good game, and it was fun to watch. They do have a couple of interesting players as well. Their wide receiver, Wayne Ruby, is very dynamic and by far their top player on the team. But I'll be interested to see if he makes it into the NFL, and if so, where. But he looks like he's got it all, from what I saw on Saturday. But that is going to wrap things up for college football. So I'm going to take another short break, and I will be back to talk about the Columbus Blue Jackets on the Show of the Land with Jen B right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Lentarius Locke.
And we're the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That gives you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. We are coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, everyone? It's Drewski, the host of Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. On this station, we cover everything in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. From we cover the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Stars, Dallas Mavericks, Dallas Wings, Texas Rangers, TCU, SMU, we cover it all right here every Wednesdays from 9 to 10 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you stay live with me on the Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
You're back live with Jen B on the show of the land right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. So the Columbus Blue Jackets are not doing too well. They played the Anaheim Ducks, and at the end of one, they were winning 1-2. At the end of two, it was tied 1-1. The end of three, it was tied 2-2. Emil Bemstrom and Adam Fantilli both scored goals. It was Adam's first goal at home. And the Ducks ended up scoring in overtime to get the win. So boo to that. But, you know, it is what it is. Adam Fantilli also had an assist on the Bemstrom goal, giving him his first career 2-point game. Yegor Chenikov was activated from the IR and loaned to the Cleveland Monsters. And then the Blue Jackets played the Montreal Canadiens. And at the end of one, they were up 2-0. At the end of two, they were up 3-2. The Canadiens tied it up, and it went to overtime. And the Canadiens scored the winning goal in overtime. So, 2 in a row, they lost. But Dave Caruso, Senior Director of Amateur Hockey Programming, was named Assistant Coach of the U.S. Youth Olympic Team. So, congratulations to him. And then the Blue Jackets played the Stars yesterday. And they lost that one too. So, I was wrong. They played the Islanders before they played the Stars. Sorry about that. They played the Islanders and they were losing 1-0 after one. And ended up losing 2-0. Then they played the Stars last night. And they were at the end of one, they were winning 2-1. Both Voronkov and Severson got goals in the first period. Then in the second period, the Stars tied it up. And then they took the lead. And it was 5-2. And then Sean Corrali ended up getting a goal towards the end of the game, bringing the final score to 5-3. So they lost 4 in a row. Not great. Not great at all. But on the positive, they do seem to be getting their chemistry down, and they're getting their lineup more where they want it to be, and they're playing well. They're getting plenty of shots on goal. They're just not getting them in. So, you know, eventually they'll start getting them. So, gonna stay positive, but for right now, things are not looking great. But their next games are Thursday against the Lightning, Saturday against the Capitals, and Monday against the Panthers. And then we've got the Crew middle fielder Taha Brown and coach Kelvin Jones will represent the U.S. in the FIFA U17 World Cup in Indonesia this year. Coach Wilfried Nancy is a finalist for Coach of the Year. Aiden Morris is a finalist for Young Player of the Year. And Darlington Nagbe is a finalist for Audi Goals Drive Progress Impact Award. Darlington is also the captain of the crew team, and they will have their first playoff match tomorrow against Atlanta United. So go Crew! And let's just do real quick the little tiny little Guardians update that I have. It's not much. The Guardians requested permission to interview Brewers skipper Craig Counsell, and they interviewed him yesterday. They also interviewed Cubs bench coach Andy Green, and Stephen Kwan and Andres Jimenez are 2023 Fielding Bible Award winners. So congratulations to those two. Much deserved. They are great at their respective positions of left field and second base. And now let's talk about those Cavaliers. They are also not doing well, but it's early and there's injuries. So, but before we get into what the Cavs are doing, Myles Garrett of the Cleveland Browns became a minority owner of the Cavs this year. He will also serve as the Cavs brand ambassador. So the Cavs played the Brooklyn Nets. The starting five were Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Isaac Okoro, and Evan Mobley. Cavs were up 37-32 after one. And the team was playing well together. Max Strus was hitting threes very well. Garland and Mobley were back at their Garland assisting Mobley at the hoop. They did that a lot last season. At the half, it was tied at 63. Max Strus was hitting threes like crazy. At half, he was 5 for 8. Both teams were shooting over 50%. After three, the Cavs were up 90-87. Max Strus had a double-double with 27 points and 12 rebounds. Donovan Mitchell hit the game-winning three, and the final score was 114-113. It was the Cavs' first road win in a season opener since 2000. Max Strus tied an NBA record for the most threes in a debut with a team at 7 for 13. And it is also the most for a Cavs player in a debut. Strus and Mitchell both had 27 points each. Max Strus was the leader in rebounds at 12. Donovan Mitchell was the assist leader at 6. He was also the steals leader at 4. And Evan Mobley led with 2 blocks. So they started out well, 1-0, but it was all downhill from there. Bobby Bingo Smith passed away on the 26th at the age of 77. He played for the Cavs from 1970 to 1979. His number 7 has been retired by the Cavs, and he played in all 82 games 4 of the 9 seasons he was with the Cavs. So, rest in peace, Bobby Smith. Then the Cavs played the Thunder, and the starting five were Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, and Evan Mobley. Darius Garland was out with a hamstring injury, and Jarrett Allen is still rehabbing his bone bruise in his ankle, but he has been doing some shooting, so hopefully he will be back. The Cavs had a slow start with the unusual starting lineup, but got things together once the bench started subbing in, and they were losing 31-26 at the end of the first quarter. 52-42 at the end of the half. then Isaac Okoro took an elbow to the face and went down. And the Thunder's player who was shooting landed on Okoro while he was lying on the ground holding his face with his nose bleeding, stepping on his arm, and then the refs called a foul on Okoro. So JB Bickerstaff threw quite a fit, and it was not pretty. Okoro did return to the game near the end of the third quarter. At the end of 3, they were losing 79-75. Evan Mobley had a double-double with 14 points and 15 rebounds. They did end up losing 108-105. Donovan Mitchell had 43 points, and that was his third straight home game with 40 plus. And then the Cavs played the Pacers with Darius Garland, Jarrett Allen, Ty Jerome, and Donovan Mitchell all out. Yikes. So the starting 5 were Karis LeVert, Max Strus, Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, and Evan Mobley. Craig Porter Jr. and Amani Bates got their first NBA minutes. After 1, they were up 37-31. At the half, they were down 60-49. At the end of 3, they were down 91-87. Tristan Thompson got his first minutes after returning to the Cavs. George Niang hit his first 3 as a Cav. Evan Mobley had another double-double at 33 points and 14 rebounds, and Max Strus also had another double-double at 21 points and 11 rebounds. And for some reason, I didn't write down the final score, but they lost. So, that's all that matters, really, I guess. So they lost. Darius Garland, Jarrett Allen, and Ty Jerome are all ruled out for tonight's game. Donovan Mitchell and Karis LeVert are both questionable, but expected to play. They were both seen in the open portion of practice today doing some shooting, so we will see. Actually, I'm going to check right now and see real quick if they have posted the starting lineup yet. Probably not, but we shall see. They tend to post it at the very last minute, so let's see. Nope, they have not posted the starting lineup yet, so we shall find out. But they are playing the Knicks tonight at home, and then tomorrow they will be playing the Knicks in New York. Friday they will be playing the Pacers in Indiana, and Sunday they are at home against the Golden State Warriors. Donovan Mitchell and Karis LeVert both have a hamstring issue. From what I understand with Donovan Mitchell, it was more cramping than an actual injury. So it seemed like he was possibly dehydrated, but we'll see. They did hold him out the entire game on Sunday or Saturday or whenever it was. Saturday, I think it was. But he is expected to play, and he did his normal let him know tweet that he does before games, and he only generally posts that when he's playing. So chances are he's playing. Karis LeVert, we don't know for sure, but we'll see. He was just added to the injury report today, so based on what happened last game, I'd say he probably won't play, because the same thing happened with Donovan Mitchell for the last game against the Pacers. So I would say he's probably not going to be a go, but since he generally comes off the bench, maybe he will. We shall see. But the Cavs are not doing too well as of right now. They're 1-2. Lost their first 2 home games, which is unusual for them. They were like 31-10 at home last season, but with all the injuries, it's not overly surprising. They had 3 of their 5 starters out the last game, 2 of the 5 out the second game, and 1 of the 5 out the first game. So hopefully, if they start to get some of these guys back, things will look much, much better. And I am hearing that Darius Garland and Jarrett Allen have both been doing after-practice shoot-arounds. So hopefully they are both on their way back, and we won't be missing them too much longer. Hopefully by Friday. Let's hope for Friday. At the very latest Sunday when they're back at home. But hopefully Donovan Mitchell will be back tonight, and that will help significantly. That pretty much wraps things up for tonight. But before I close things out, don't forget to check out our sponsor, Planet Jerky. They sell premium beef brisket jerky, and it is available in 7 flavors, and it ranges from $10 to $20 per pack. The price difference is based on the size and whether or not it's on sale. So they do have 2 different sizes, and free shipping on orders over $50, and you can check them out at planetjerky.net. So be sure to check them out. I hear it is really, really good jerky. And one of these days I'm going to order some so I can say that for a fact from my own mouth. But that is all for tonight. Thank you for joining me, Jen B, tonight on the Show of the Land. Be sure to follow me on X, Instagram, and Threads at BelieveLandGirl, and on TikTok at JENN.BelieveLand. Also, follow the show for daily updates on Cleveland and Columbus sports news. On X at Show of the Land IE. Next up will be the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax at 7 p.m. Eastern to talk about all that is Buffalo sports. Be sure to catch me next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on the Show of the Land for more on Cleveland and Columbus sports right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Happy Halloween, Ohio!
What?